Assetto Corsa Evo just released a big update with the 0.2 version of Early Access. Is the game better now? Let's find out together. And with that, welcome back to HD Racing. It's been a while, hasn't it? If you've seen my last video on Assetto Corsa Evo, which also was the last video on the channel, something that we're gonna talk about later on, but you will have seen that I had big problems with Assetto Corsa Evo. And not only that there wasn't much to do, but mostly that the performance, at least on my system, was really bad. And it was so bad, in fact, that I really couldn't make videos on the game. Even on some tracks where the game ran okay, I still had way too less frame rate. And on some other tracks, like while recording, I had 20 to 30 FPS, which was unbearable, both to play and also for you to watch. Which is why you haven't seen any updates since, since January by now. I did check the game out when there were updates to see if anything was fixed, but sadly it never was. But now with the 0.2 version, there was something in the release notes which really caught my eye. There were big performance increases for both just single screen, triple screen VR. And well, I wanted to try this out. And before I started recording here, I actually did and noticed that not only was the performance a lot better on my system, I actually now, without recording, can get up to 100 FPS on medium settings. And recording, it's kind of in the ballpark of 60 to 80, which is totally fine. But also, the game looks a lot better than it did, at least in my opinion, back then. So while we talk about the rest of all of this and what the game is like now and what's to come in the future, I will now show you a race that I did on one of the new tracks added in this update, which is Donington Park. And here we are at the start line in the BMW M2 CSL, I think is the variant in this game. It's one of my go-to cars in any sim that has it. It's just very relaxing to drive. Still a race car, but kind of tame, both in terms of power and also in terms of grip. But yeah, here we are on Donington Park, and I've set up the AI to be, I think, 90% to 100% strength, and you can change the aggressiveness. As far as I've seen, at least the slider is grayed out for me, so that's what we have. And we're gonna see how good the AI is, how the driving is, because that's also something that I've read is improved at least a little bit. But one thing that I noticed when just trying it out, and also in this race, the game finally runs a lot better on my system, and it looks better. And I did check after the fact, and I think one of the things that made the game look bad back when I started it for the first time last time was that regardless of my settings, I never had any grass on the side of the track. You can see it here. I mean, I'm on medium settings right now. It's not the best quality, but I've checked my footage from last time. There wasn't anything. It was just like green concrete or something. So something was definitely off. I don't know what it was and why it was that way on my system, but yeah, the game runs a lot better now and it looks better, at least to me. Feel free to check the video from January if you want and tell me what you think. But yeah, for me this is a big improvement. And the performance improvements really made it to where I actually now can enjoy the game, which I really couldn't back when the early access started for the first time. I know that my system is not the most powerful, but I can run almost any sim on the market, at least on medium to maybe low settings, depending on the sim. But most I can also run a lot higher. But this Assetto Corsa Evo really did run poorly when early access started. That seemingly has been addressed, and that's a very good sign. I mean, the devs did take quite a long time between the last update and this one, but it seems like they really went and, well, tried to make the game a lot better. And I can definitely feel that. But that's only one aspect. Another is, and that's a criticism that I've heard from multiple people in the comments of the last video and also seen online, the game basically was forced online mode, and in the very beginning it you basically couldn't do much of anything because online wasn't working. There was some problem with their servers, and well, the game just was very limited. They had to kind of hotfix it so that you actually were able to drive anything but the starter cars. And that was not a good sign. And a lot of people also, I think rightfully so, said that it's a problem if the game is forced online. What happens if you don't have an internet connection, or if for some reason in the distant future they decide to turn off the servers, then you can't play the game? Well, that's a bad impression. And while I personally don't have a big problem with games being online for most things, I can definitely get where people are coming from. And it seems like the developers Kunos are also aware of the problem, and from what they've communicated, they never really intended the game to be online only, but it was, well, a problem in their at least early access version and their architecture there. I'm not quite sure if that's true 100%, but at least the end result is they are changing it. So a lot, like almost all of the game, will be accessible offline as well. That includes just driving against AI, the career mode from what I've understand, which is, by the way, also now kind of changed. So you saw in the very beginning that there is now a choice when you start between open mode, which is what we're driving now, where you can just pick any car and any track and just drive against AI. That will probably also be where multiplayer will take place, which will come in the next update of Early Access. At least that's what the roadmap says. No idea when that's gonna be, but I will hopefully be able to let you know. But yeah, that's basically the plan there. And then apart from open mode, there is the career mode, which is where the progression systems are in place. And so you will only have a starter car from what I've seen, and then have to earn credits through driving the driving academy, for example, and maybe some other stuff. I think it's not 100% fleshed out. I haven't looked at it apart from just taking a quick peek in the menu. So if that's something you want to see, I can definitely check out the career mode and what's available there, and well, make a video of that. Let me know down in the comments if you would like to see that, or if you would like to see anything else in Assetto Corsa Evo, and I can definitely check it out for you. I know a lot of viewers of the channel, regular viewers, are on console and are waiting, because right now early access is only on PC. The console version will come when the game releases fully, or maybe even a little bit after that. We will have to see. With the roadmap being kind of pushed back, and by the way, I completely lost the car here because I was so over pushing. I was really trying to see what the car is capable of, and also trying to feel out the force feedback. Also something we can talk about a little bit. But just finishing my thought here, in terms of the release schedule, I feel like because the roadmap has been kind of pushed back, because they are taking a step back and trying to address the issues that were raised in the very beginning of early access, I feel like maybe that the release of the game, the full release, will not happen this year anymore. I mean, there has been no confirmation, no nothing on that yet, but it's kind of my feeling that releasing this game at the end of the year will maybe be a little bit of a stretch, but we'll see. I think the big and interesting thing for a lot of people will be the open world, which is supposed to come in summer. That's not too far away. I mean, it depends on what you classify as summer still, but I feel like even that might be pushed back. I mean, we don't even have multiplayer yet, as I said, but at least the developers are listening to the feedback, and they are addressing issues that were raised, and well, hopefully fixing a lot of them. And yeah, so far, as I said, from the biggest problem that I had, which, as I said, was the performance in the game and also how it looked, it definitely is improved now in this version, and I feel like they can still maybe do some more improvements in terms of optimization, and we'll see how that actually pans out. But at least with seeing how the game is now, I'm a little bit more hopeful. And just to also show you something else, so you don't get bored of the BMW M2 in the background, which I think is a great car to drive, and also the track Donington Park, one of my favorites, was really fun. I'm really happy that they added it. We are now jumping into something a little bit faster, which is one of the new cars added in this update, the Maserati GT2. A really fun car to drive in ACC. And well, I was kind of curious how the car would handle in this game, because force feedback definitely feels different here. And we are on Suzuka, as you can see, a track that had the biggest performance issues when I started the game in early access in January, and I can happily say those are gone. The performance still is a little bit worse on a track like this than on Donington Park before, but it's totally fine, and even while recording on my system, which isn't the greatest, as I said, still runs perfectly smooth, and I'm really happy about that. But yeah, talking about force feedback, something that I didn't really touch on in my very first video, because I really couldn't drive the game all that much, as I really make a small mistake here. I mean, they were all kind of slow, so I bumped into the back of the Ferrari. So yeah, the force feedback. So I've only tested 2 cars so far, and they are definitely different, but force feedback in both felt pretty good in my opinion. I didn't tinker a lot with the settings. I'm running on my wheelbase, something that I've used in the more Ultimate, which is a pretty raw signal and not having a lot of or any dampening or anything like friction or something set there. So it's pretty raw force feedback, and I think it's good to test what it's like here in the game in Assetto Corsa Evo. And so far I can say with these 2 cars, they both felt very great to drive. I could definitely feel when the car was understeering or was also losing the rear end. I could feel that road details and curbs all felt pretty great. And yeah, so far, I mean, with very limited testing, but so far felt pretty good to drive. And yeah, overall I can say the game is enjoyable now for me, which is awesome to be able to report. So I would say if you were also in the same boat as me and started with early access and were kind of underwhelmed or also had big problems, give the game a try now and see what you think, and if you can also reproduce what I was able to, that the performance is a lot better. Well, I think the game is definitely moving in the right direction, and I'm really curious to see what it's gonna be like in a couple of months' time. Because, as I said, this update has brought a lot of great things in terms of just overall improvements to the game, and also new tracks and new cars. I think there's still some things missing. I mean, this GT2 is the fastest car in the game, along with the other GT2, I think. Maybe the Ferrari Challenge, which is, I think, also in this lobby, is kind of on a similar level. But yeah, we don't have any GT3s or even like prototypes or Formula cars. So that's something that I would kind of like to see, as the AI here for some reason makes a big mistake. I'm not sure, by the way, AI is kind of a little bit all over the place still. I think it's better than it was in the very beginning of early access, but it's still not very fast. And also, yeah, I don't know, the racecraft seemed fine, but I think also there improvements could be made. And I think it's, even though in a game like this, multiplayer will be a big part, single player shouldn't be neglected. I mean, a lot of people on Assetto Corsa, the original one, were playing single player and just trying out different things. And I mean, with traffic later on, AI should be somewhat good. As I completely outbreak myself here, and yeah, I in the end decide to completely cut. Yeah, by the way, because of that accident, I was able to overtake a lot of cars. It did take quite a while for the UI to update. That's something that I've noticed. UI seems to be a little bit laggy, delayed. So yeah, I am in P2 right now and trying to catch P1. But talking about UI, by the way, really quickly, I would say It's functional right now, but it's definitely not the strong suit of Kunos. Both the menu UI and the in-game UI can definitely use some improvements. One big gripe that I have is that because I'm running on a widescreen monitor, so 21:9, I do have to move all the UI elements every time I restart the game. For some reason that is not saved. It's saved between sessions, but not between game restarts. Hopefully something that they will fix also in the future. But yeah, overall it's functional right now, but I hope that they will do some improvements, because also some of the UI in the menus is just very bland and sometimes also a little bit non-intuitive, I would say. Another thing that I want to quickly touch on is graphics and sound. So I've talked a little bit about what I think in terms of performance improvements, which is the most important thing to me, and that the game looks, at least in my eyes, better than it did when Early Access released. But I think there's still some improvements to be made. Granted, I am not on the highest settings because I can run those on my system. Maybe the game already looks stunning in like ultra quality on a high-end system. If that's the case, kudos to the developers. But I think they can still do some things to make the game look better on some systems that aren't quite as high-end. In terms of sound, I have to say, the two cars that I've now driven, I was quite impressed. It's not something that I did pick up on when I played Early Access for the first time, but at least to my ears, the cars sound pretty great. And you also will see, or maybe also already have seen here, some footage from the replay, which is another cool feature. You can actually now save and then watch replays. That's once again another side note. Even in those camera angles, the sound is pretty great in my opinion. I mean, once again, maybe some cars will need some tweaks in the future, but I think they are on the right track in terms of sound. I'm quite happy with it. But yeah, I think I've talked about most of the points that I wanted to talk about for Assetto Corsa Evo. As I said, if you want to see anything in particular in the future, let me know down in the comments. And I want to quickly touch on why I have been so absent in the past couple of months. And there are multiple reasons for that. So regular viewers of the channel might know that I always did have some breaks in between. But this time I actually, partly because of Assetto Corsa Evo, which I was really excited for and hoping to be able to make a lot of videos on when Early Access launched, really was disappointing to me as a content creator. I was kind of frustrated that basically because of the performance issues I couldn't make any videos on the game, because it would just look really bad and or run really bad and would just be a horrible experience for me and for you as the viewer. So that is one reason why I didn't make any videos. Another is that also I had a lot of things on my plate in real life. Work has been quite stressful, and also some other private things going on, which meant that I also wasn't sim racing all that much. When I was actually driving mostly on Le Mans Ultimate, which is kind of my go-to sim at the moment. I'm not driving a lot, but when I have the time and when I am able to, I really enjoy the GT3 racing there, which is something that, well, I did enjoy both on Forza Motorsport back in the day and also on Assetto Corsa Competizione. But I feel like in Le Mans Ultimate it's still kind of on another level with how the game feels, how it sounds and how it looks. I'm really enjoying that for GT3 racing, and I would probably also, if I can get to grips with those cars, would enjoy the prototypes, hypercars and the LMP2. Not something that I have really tried all that much so far, because no ABS and, well, quite fast means if you're not a good driver like me, well, it can end in carnage real quick. But that's just a side note. So that's the reason why there haven't been much other videos as well. I haven't been doing much sim racing at all in the past couple of months. Not quite sure how much time I will have in the coming weeks, but as I said, if there's something that you want to see, also if you want to see something from Le Mans Ultimate, I can definitely also do some recordings there if I do races online or something like that. Let me know if that's something that you would like to see, and I will see what I can do. So yeah, I can't promise anything in terms of what videos are gonna come in the future and how many and how often, but I will try to at least keep up to date with AC Evo and yeah, well, what's going on with the development of the early access, so that you are informed about that. And yeah, that's basically all that I wanted to talk about. So I will hopefully be able to show you more later on. This is just a first impression of the 0.2 update. So far, I have to say I am quite impressed with what they did in the time between the last update and now, and I hope that they will continue this trend, and I'm looking forward to what's to come. But yeah, let me know, what are your thoughts on the topic? Have you tried the game again after this update, or have you even been playing before that? Or are you just waiting until the game releases, which I could totally understand, and that is one of the reasons why I wanted to do coverage on this game. So you get to see, for example, if you're on console or if you're just waiting, if you're on PC, that you can see what the development is and if the game is something for you in the future. And yeah, hopefully it will be. I think it has a lot of potential. I think I've said that before the game released. They just need to capitalize on what they are trying to build here, and hopefully with the changes that they've made and the direction that they're going, they are on their way there. But yeah, I think I've rambled on for long enough. I want to thank you a lot for watching. I've been HC Racing, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.